So, hello guys. I hope you all are doing good, and I hope everything is groovy at your end. This is Lakshit Pan from Azure Developer Community, and today we are going. This is our first day starting our bootcamp on AZ-900, and this is the initiative by Azure Developer Community to start your cloud career by Microsoft Azure certifications. And in this, following up this, we have today our industry expert Dilip Pai sir, Microsoft Azure certified, Microsoft certified trainer, 4 into Microsoft certified, and a cloud enthusiast with incredible Microsoft journey experience. And today, so over to you, Dilip sir.
Hey, thanks, Lakshit. So let's get started. Sharing my screen. Uh, just give me a second. Yep. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Great, great. Okay. Yep. So let's get started, and I welcome all of you to the session of AZ-900 Bootcamp, which will be divided into 3 days with various topic and fun learning. Okay, so yep, so today's topic is basically a cloud concept, but before we start cloud concept, right, just let me take you through AZ-900 syllabus so that we'll be crystal clear on what are we going to cover and what is the expectations out of this course. Okay, so yep, so as you can see here, this is the official Microsoft site, and probably anyone can just go ahead and have a look at exam outline. Okay. Yep. So here, right, so it's basically divided into three or four parts. Okay, so the first one is the cloud concept and core services, so core solutions and management, and general securities and network features, and identity and governance. Okay, governance, and also lastly the cost management and service level agreements. Okay, so this is the course structure divided. So this has many sub things, and we will try to cover each and every part. So today is the starting, then let's take it on a lighter note. So eventually we have a lot to cover, so let's get started with this. Okay, and before we start, we all know there are some weightages for this and so on. So yeah, so that's the catch over here. And before that, let me show you if I have any weightages section with me. Yep. So this is the handbook, and if you see here how the weightage is divided, so cloud concept is having 20 to 25% of weightage. So core services 15 to 20, 10 to 15, both 10 to 15. And so if you see here, cloud concept and identity governance, privacy and compliance features 25%. Okay, so this is the overall distribution of domain area. Okay, so let me just give you a exam introduction before this. So what do you expect out of AZ-900? Okay, so um yep, so what do you call AZ-900? So it's a someone, for anyone to just starting of the Azure journey, for them this is the best opportunity to get started and to get to know Azure services on a better note. Okay, so this is kind of a like a gate for you guys if you are just starting with the um, Azure 900, correct? Okay, so now before we start, let's just see what is the roadmap for future. Okay, so once it's just not about the completion of AZ 900, right? So it's just a entry step or a baby step. So once you just started, so just yep. So as Azure fundamentals, there are three. It divided into three types. Okay, so Azure AI fundamentals, Azure data fundamentals. Okay, so Azure fundamentals covers at least most of the concepts. Okay, at least of the data fundamentals and some of the concepts of AI fundamentals. At least you know about the services. So Azure fundamentals expect you to know the services, just the overall services. What are the services available in Azure? That's it. So that's the expectations out of this certification. Okay, so once completion of Azure fundamentals, you have three options. So either you can go ahead with the Azure administrator, that is AZ-104, so someone who wants to go to infrastructure side, the admin side, or the Azure developer side. Okay, so the PaaS services. else the data administrator is moved towards the data fundamentals now. Okay, so once you have completed Azure administrator, so then you can go ahead with the solution architect, okay, or the DevOps engineer. So these both certifications are linked with here. Okay, so this is the overall roadmap or the certification structure for Azure. Okay, so yep, so once we have know about Azure, right, so just let's get started now with the first topic, that is the cloud concept. Okay, okay, before that, something about me. I worked as a R&D professional in NEC Software Solutions India. I am a Microsoft certified trainer and I am a avid traveler, so this is my hobbies and so on. So apart from certifications, I also travel a lot. Okay, so just a small slide about me. Yep, so what is cloud computing? Okay, so I just want you guys to write in comments that what do you, when you go to buy computer, right? What do you go and ask for a guy when you go and get go, probably you go and you are purchasing a computer and laptop. What do I ask the shop guy? So just type in comments. No answers. No one goes to buy a computer. Great. Specifications, features, storage, RAM, processor, CPU. Great. Processor. Yep. So most of the things here is RAM, graphics card, storage, right? So let us divide it into two sections. So every answer is perfectly fine. Hardware, RAM, storage, it's perfectly fine. Okay. So basically, let us divide your computer into two things. Okay, so one is your storage and other one is your computation. Okay, so one is your compute, what does the actual job, and other one is storage. Okay, so yeah, your rom processor comes under compute section, and your hard disk and SDD and all this comes into the storage section. Great, works fine. Now what happens is, suppose you go to some laptop shop, okay, and go ahead and get a laptop of probably 8 GB RAM. Let's just stick to RAM and 1 TB hard disk. Okay, so you just go and get a RAM, I mean a laptop of 8 GB RAM and 1 TB hard disk. Works fine for 6 months at least. You start to install games. Okay, else you start to do nonsense, some torrents and all those things. When okay, so you add it, all the things comes, your computer gets slowed down. Okay, what are you gonna do in that case? You gonna clean up one case, one again and again clean up. Probably um one day you will get my storage is full. Okay, what, you run heavy games, what are you gonna do in this? So one scenario is you run probably a game with the use of heavy graphics, and another thing is storage full. So in this case, what are you gonna do? In comments. No comments. Any comments? I'll upgrade it. Great. So what you will upgrade? So Janesh told you cloud services. Perfect. Get another hard disk. Okay, great. Hard drive. Okay, so there are two things. Okay, buy external HDD or something. Perfect. So you do two things. Okay, so one thing, yeah. So Anish also told we change the laptop. Correct. Anyone would have done that. But how many times you will change the laptop, right? You can't. You probably, if you are in college, parents might have tell, okay, I can't buy you a new laptop anymore. Okay, yeah, SDD, external HDD. Correct, makes sense. So either what you do, you increase the RAM. If it's a 8 GB, you increase it to 16 GB. One option. Buy a new laptop, second option. Third thing for storage is you go and put a external HDD. Makes sense. Okay, but is it a feasible solution for multiple times? Okay, game might work, but if you're doing something on the business side, is it a feasible solution that you go and get a laptop each and every time the computational things slow down? No, right? Okay, so yeah, reset Windows, yeah, might be, yes. So but on an ideal scenario, this might work or might not work. Okay, so you go and get an external RAM. You might a new RAM, you might go and get an external HDD. Works fine, great. But on a longer term, or if you want a longer learning solutions, cost wise it's not that effective, right? You need to shell out more money for your RAM, you need to shell out more money for your um, hard disk, correct? So in this case, cloud computing comes into picture. Okay, so cloud computing comes into picture. So what is this cloud computing? So cloud computing says that a provider is there. Okay, we have a XYZ provider, be it a Microsoft, Google, Alibaba, or anyone. Okay, so they come, okay, you have a local system, great, don't go to upgrade it, come to us, we will give you hardware, we will give you everything what you need to do for your computing services, networking services, and storage services. Anything what you want, you do it through our system. Okay, and this is where the cloud computing comes into picture. In a technical terms, what I mean is the cloud computing is basically the delivery of computing services over the internet, as it's written here. So it means that, very layman term, cloud is nothing but someone else's computer. You are using someone else's computer. So when I was in college, right, I had really confusion. What is cloud? Is it a literal meaning of cloud where the data is stored? No, nothing like that. Just don't get fascinated with all those fancy or dumb meanings. Okay, so basically, very layman terms, cloud is nothing but someone else's computer. So basically you use it and he manages it. So that's the concept of cloud computing. Okay, so, what are the services offered in cloud computing? One is compute, definitely, networking services, storage, and analytics services. So, these are the four main categories of any system what you are expecting. Okay. Now, only these services? No. Okay, these are some other services what cloud manages for us: servers, storage, database, networking, software, analytics, and intelligence. So these are the set of services. Okay, so they manage you the VMs, everything. The storage, you can create it, then they manage it. The databases, so if you have any on premises databases, need just put it into cloud, that works. Networking, virtual networks, private networks, everything. A software, if you want to install it. The analytic services, okay, the Power BI, all those things. And when the nowadays most trending term is intelligence, IoT, and all, right? Okay, so intelligence comes, uh, you can really do wonders with it. Okay, yep. So Kamlesh Selvaraj put it in a more technical term. So cloud is something that hosts the services like networking, database, security, analytics, and AI and machine learning. IoT. Great, Kamlesh. Okay, so what are the advantages of moving to cloud? As I told you, we came through our example of upgrading your system, correct? First thing is cost. So you need not go to shop, get the hardwares, and extend your RAM and so on, right? So soft hardwares are there in the data centers. So what is this data center? Is basically, as I told you, right? uh, you are using someone else's computer. This computer needs to be somewhere. Okay, so this somewhere or this destination is known as a data center. Okay, um yeah, so cloud computing eliminates the capital expenses. So it means that you literally have don't go to shop, get any hardware or anything. You just come and maintain it. Okay, so generally how the hardware is basically, if I just go to here. Okay, so if you just so I'll just add a new page here. Okay, so how the hardware is, generally how it will be stored is, this is the hardware. Consider, if you have look any service server rooms or anything, if I just show you any server rooms example. Yep, so you see here there are multiple examples of server rooms, correct? So it's basically racking of all the hardware. Okay, um stacking up of all the hardware. So this is some how your server rooms will be actually, how or how a data center will be. Okay, so now cloud, in terms of cloud, right, you need not go and do this setup, right? You don't need to maintain the temperature of the server. And probably if any one of our college friends are there, so they might know that your system, your computer labs might be always equipped with AC, and there might be a small server room, if you have observed in your college days, because it needs to be maintained at certain temperature and so on. Okay, so in this case, it reduces all these costs. Okay, and you don't need a IT server guy or server manager or anything. Okay, second, speed. It's damn speed. Okay, so no question of you can just go to portal and take a VM of 16 GB or anything, install your GTA 5 or Far Cry, it will work seamlessly with your system of 2 GB or 3 GB local. Okay, so speed. Why? Because hardware is somewhere else. You're not really bothered about the hardware. Hardware is managed, it's a high end hardware, you're just paying to use it. Okay, next, global scale. So what do you mean by global scale? Okay, so consider, I think most of our friends over here are from college, correct? So what happens, if you have how your results are published, can you just tell me, if you guys, any one of you guys in college? Yeah, Tulika, I'll just get back to you of how to choose a cloud provider. Okay, through a website, online portal. Okay, so you must have observed, right, on the student portal or on online college portal, on result day it will fail most of the time, or for common portal. So at least in my case, what used to happen on the result day, boom, the server used to be down. Okay, so this was most of the common scenario where we played, and we used to continuously hit result, and then at some luck we used to get at one point. Okay, so this used to happen in most of the scenario, might be in your case also, it might be the same thing. Okay, if they're not using a proper scaling mechanism. So scaling is telling that, okay, now what happens, I have an infrastructure in my local, suppose that infrastructure is not able to handle this many requests, or this, it, it is giving this many response, then what? You need to get some more, right, some more hardware. As I told you, you need to upgrade your RAM, you need to upgrade your storage, and so on. Again, it's a cost. So now this yeah, even JE result. Okay. Yeah, so in this case, you need not go ahead and get any extra RAM or anything. The cloud manages it. So cloud manages, so whenever needed, it increases, it decreases, whatever you want it will do. Okay, so this is the advantages of moving to cloud. Okay, some more thing. So this is based on personal thing also. Your productivity will increase. Like if things go don't hang, right, you, for one operation you do a 10 times click, obviously your mood will be good and your productivity also will be increased. Why? Because in data center you don't go ahead and the sack all the things, and also everything is done already. You can spend more time on your business, at least you're developing your logic. Okay, next, performance. Obviously, productivity and performance go hand in hand. So it's better performance, lesser downtime, because everything. Suppose consider something wrong in your data center. Okay, so you have your local, I mean your local on-premises data center. Something goes wrong. Obviously, it's a downtime for your customers, right? So in this case, you need to increase the performance, or you need to have a better performance. So this cloud computing solves this problem too. It's better reliability. So you can't get your data can't get messed up. Okay, your data can't get messed up. Security is basically someone can't. So you have your data center. Now you come, someone, you fire an employee, so that guy will come to your data center and put water all over your servers or hard disk and go. Data is crashed, right? Zero security, correct? So Azure manages this too. You need not be much worried about your data. Okay, so Azure manages everything. So basically, if something happen, Microsoft also fires a guy, and or not Microsoft, any cloud provider for that matter, fires a guy and he damages the data center, the data is already replicated. So this is also one of the advantage in cloud. Okay, okay. Types of cloud. So before going to types of cloud, right, let's move towards Microsoft now. Okay, so why Azure? So Azure is nothing but just like some other, Azure is a cloud provider given by a Microsoft. Okay, so Azure is a cloud provider given by a Microsoft. Now why Azure is basically, it is very simple to use. Okay, very user friendly. Cost benefit is also there. They are moving towards open source. Also they are ready for the future. There are way more things which is upcoming, like IoT and all those other things. Obviously the competitors are same, but yes, it is on top. So current stack, if you go, it's Amazon is on top plus Azure. So next comes the Google. Okay, so it, why? Because Microsoft, why it stands on bit top? Because it has its own programming language. It has the tie-ups with all the extensions, or you can use all the programming languages to implement Azure. So this is why Azure is stands one step ahead of Google. Why AWS is on top? Because when Microsoft started, right, they are not much towards the open source. Okay, so they were just towards the .NET program. So this was a foot. I mean, this was a back foot for them. They started to improvise. They started to incorporate the open source. They started .NET Core. They started cross-platform. This is when people started. Okay, Azure is also a technology. We can go towards it. So, okay, so current scenario, if you see, Amazon, Azure, GCP. Okay, so that's the stack. But now let's, because why Azure is booming is, they have started to incorporate all the features given by Azure, AWS. Also cost wise also they are a bit better. Okay, so this is why people are moving towards the Azure now. Okay, so types of cloud. Okay, before this, so just let me go to the OneNote now. I'll delete this. Okay, let me rewind this. Okay. Okay, so this is basically the services provided by Azure. Okay, so ignore the platform as a services and infrastructure as a services. So these are the services provided by Azure. Now if you see a security center, the portal, Active Directory for the B2C, multi-factor authentication. So is it, I'll just zoom it for better visibility. Okay, yeah, so integration you can do. I mean, there are n number of tools. Okay, so you can just use these many tools whenever you want. Okay, data center infrastructure is here. Okay, so what are the services over here? So if you see here, these many services, it's divided, this whole picture is divided into these many services: the compute service, the networking service, the storage service, the mobile service, the databases service. This also includes the big data, the web, the web app and all those things. IoT, this also includes the AI, ML, DevOps. So these many services are provided by Azure, and this is all pay as you go. You need not pay anything upfront. Okay, like it's like you have to have a credit. I mean, you have to create a go to portal and just pay some nominal first thing, and later on, according to that credit, how much ever you pay, that much will be deducted. This is one of the option in credit. But if you guys are a student, you can use your student ID card and get a student benefit card. So that gives you probably some $150 or something. But the advantage is you need not have to give your credit card details over there. So any students here over there, just go and create a portal account. So I have been mentioning about portal, right? So how is the portal? Let's look at the portal now. So this is the portal. So portal is nothing but it's a one place for all your Azure services of how you deal with it. Okay, so this is the portal, and here you have your details. Okay, and if you see here, you get a number of amount left in your account. So basically, it's like a credit kind of a mobile recharge validity. You just speak, this much amount is cut deducted. Okay, same thing applies here. You use any services, the charges are deducted according to the usage of the resources and where the resource is located and so on. So this is how your um, resources are deducted. Okay, yes, you got a 1 year membership. So Mohammed Sohail is probably a student. It's not free for, yeah, it's ideally free for student. It means the sense they give around I think 150 rupees, $150, that probably 3 to 4,000 or max to max 10,000 they might give. So this is valid for 1 year or some particular time, and you can go ahead and use it. So basically, as I told you, you can play around with the resources here, and the money is deducted on number of resources you create, type of resources, and so on. Okay, so it's free for a trial at least. Okay, later on you need to pay. So this is portal. Okay, once created a portal is created, you will assign a subscription. So subscription is basically how the like resources are linked, so you are authorized to use this resource or not. So that's how your subscription is there. So this is some paid this account, so that's why it's enterprise subscription. I am part of enterprise subscription. So how you can access the resource and so on. Okay, so yes. So here, as your account, you have multiple subscription. So under subscription, you have resource group. So subscription is you are authorized, you have the authority to create a resource or not. Okay. Next comes the resource group. So resource group is basically a logical grouping of all the resources together. Resources is Azure resources. Okay. So these are coming from the Azure marketplace. Okay. So all these small resources, it might be a virtual machine, it might be a web app, it might be a machine learning IoT, and so on. Okay, so that's one. So all these resources combined will give you a resource. Inside it'll be a resource. So basically, resource group is nothing but all the Azure resources at one place. You can, it's a logical grouping. Okay. Okay, so Mohammed 12th he got 100 USD. Okay, so I got it because of I'm a certified trainer, and Microsoft has the flexibility of giving some 10,000 credits to every certified trainer, so that they can take advantage out of it and explain things to student, or they can explore research more out of it. Okay, so this is a special privilege for Microsoft Certified Trainer. Okay, so Mohammed Suhail told that 100 USD might be that much for the students. Okay, great. Now let's just go to marketplace. So if I just go to here, right, I'll just go to dashboard or resources, not all resources. So this is something known as a marketplace. I'll just create on here, right? This thing is basically here. These are basically all the marketplace resources. Where is it? Yep. Sorry, juggling between too much of tabs happens at times. Okay, so here if you see, these are web apps, these are the VMs, these are the database, these are the Kubernetes service, storage account. If I just go to AR VR, so this is a new IoT stuff, digital twins. Okay, so you can just go ahead and explore over here if anyone has the portal access. Okay, yep, for students it's really a good time to explore this stuff. Okay, so yeah, so this is all about the Azure resources, Azure portal overview. And so eventually we have made sure that, okay, for today we will, any examples we will be going with respect to Microsoft. Okay, so yep. Okay, so we were into types of cloud, correct? Public, private, and hybrid. Okay, so before we go into, okay, exactly what's a resource. So resource in layman terms, right, resource is nothing but anything. So anything what you pay for it. Employee is a resource, correct? Employee is a resource, water is a resource, anything. So in terms of technical Azure, any service, okay, which you pay or which you get for free or paid is known as resource. So it might be XYZ service, anything. So any service is known as a resource. Example, VM is anything what I showed here, right? So where is it? I just, so create a resource. Anything what you create from here is basically a resource. And all, so probably you can, and the grouping of these resources is known as a logical group. You create a logical group of n number of resources, and these groupings is known as a resource group. Okay, it's a kind of a logical grouping. Okay, so I hope I answered your question. Now let's just go to this. Yep. So there are three types of cloud, correct? So private, public, and hybrid. Okay. So yeah, what is private cloud basically? So there is nothing such thing called a private cloud, but to be precise, something like private cloud is something known as on premises. Where is private cloud? Okay. Yep. So private cloud is not something for on premises. Okay. So basically, I have a bank. I run a bank or a financial. So if we all invest in share market, correct? So this data should not go anywhere. It's highly confidential. So they can't take a risk of going and uploading the data into the cloud. Okay. So these has to maintain in-house. So this in-house maintenance is known as on-premises data. Okay. So this on-premises data, where data center is within your company, and someone from other company uses this, so your company subsidiary uses this data, then it becomes a private cloud. Okay. Why private cloud is used? It can customize the requirements according to the IT specifications. So this can be accessed, this can't be accessed, this has to be done, this has not to be done. It can be done via private cloud. Okay. So private cloud, who uses it? Financial company. Okay. Financial company and financial agency, banks and all, might be where your data is very critical. In that case, you go ahead with the private cloud approach. Okay. Let's see some of the advantages of here. It's flexible, so you can turn however you want. Okay. uh, okay, before Tulika, I answered Tulika's question, so let's get back. I'll just complete this, then I'll just get back to this question. Okay. So flexible in terms of business, so what you want you create, what you want you give. Okay. So flexible control, you own it. So anyone, so data, even though if it's in cloud, so you have a fear of the data getting exposed at any time, right? So that's why you control your data. Scalable, as a, this is kind of a advantage also and disadvantage also. If you want to scale your application, you need to get your hardware and do it. It's like bring your own stuff. Okay. So this is the advantages, or it kind of a mix and match of both. Okay. Okay, now isn't it like a data center? Exactly. So on premises means when your data is inside your systems, right, inside your organization, that data center, then it becomes a on premises stuff. Can anyone outside the company use the private data? It depends on what kind of configuration is being done. If it's being done via virtual network, it means that I can access my data only by using certain IP. Then yes, you can create a VPN, then probably with the certain IP matching to the company, and that has to be really strong. Okay. So this is one of the disadvantages of private cloud too. If the security is bit weakened, then gone, your data is lost, okay. So is it like renting a hardware? Yes, obviously there are no wrong answers basically. You It's like how you assume it. Okay. So some guys goes get a rent a hardware. So some guy go and purchase a hardware and so on. So private cloud is a data center, I can tell that. On premises data, so yes, private cloud is a data center. You can it Yes, that is one of the definition you can tell. So before we come to private cloud, let's just go to, so what's the public cloud? Okay. So public cloud is basically, as we told, services are offered over the internet. Okay. Cloud resources, so here resources are, you don't have anything, you have your system or anything, probably you have your mobile, you access the resources from your mobile. Okay. So this is a public cloud. Data center is there, storage is there, everything is there at someone in internet. Okay. And these services are delivered to you over the internet. Okay. Okay. In public cloud, you share the same hardware, storage, and network devices with other organizations or cloud, such as tenants. Okay. So there are two types of things. Okay. So basically, you can have your dedicated, you don't have your dedicated resource or anything, or you don't have your dedicated CPU. As we saw in the older image, right? How your data center is there at this thing. So this might be some of your hardware resources or computational resources also. So here, there might be some more slots like this. Okay. So here, right, this data, this is a kind of a data center, or this is a hardware. Okay, so here it might be divided into multiple racks, and they might tell, okay, this rack is for you, this rack is for you, and this rack is for you. So if you see, it's not a kind of a dedicated resource, but it's kind of a shared resource. Okay, so this is the definition or advantage of I mean, not advantage exactly, how the public cloud is giving you a service. Okay, so how the public cloud deployments are given, it's for a web based kind of office application and storage and testing deployment. So this is how the public cloud is used basically. Advantages, when we saw this public cloud, right, when we I told you about the Azure cloud and all, did you guys go and see if anywhere purchasing, or going to any shop and getting me this kind of hardware, this kind of hardware? No, right? So basically no capital expenditures to scale up. So basically you get pay what you have got. So basically you have 10,000, you get a resource for 5,000, and you use it for 1 month and so on. Okay, so application can be quickly provisioned and deprovisioned. So in private, what used to happen is, so you have probably you have a share market, you have opened a kind of a banking application. Okay, so today you have thousands of customers logging into your portal. Might be you need your infrastructure to scale up like anything, as we told. Let's take example of some college results site. Okay, so today 10,000 people are, I know that 10,000 or 1 lakh people are hitting my website. I need to scale up. So if on premises, what I used to do, I used to go to some shop, I used to rent a hardware, or I used to purchase a hardware, provision it. And then rent cost, purchase cost comes, provision cost comes, correct? Here what happens, so now you purchase the let's not let's rent a hardware, let's keep it aside for some time. Okay, let's take, we are purchasing a hardware. Okay, so we provisioned it today. After 3 days, no one is seeing results, right? फेल हो गया तो हो गया, ठीक है, पास हो गया तो पास हो गया, ठीक है. So we are, anyone is not going to see your results, correct? Anyone is not even going to look at that website again and again. Okay, or anyone, I'm sure that anyone here is not so happy or so fascinated about his marks, so let me look my marks again and again, how much I got. No, it's just a 1 day job. So next day onwards, what happens, no one is looking at your results sites, correct? So all this hardware you bought is a waste. So public cloud delimit that thing or eliminate that particular disadvantage. Here what you can do, when you want, you can scale up your application, when you want, you can scale down your application. Okay, commission and decommission the applications. Okay, next, organization pay only for what they have used. Okay, so organization need not go ahead and get some upfront cost or anything. So you are using some resources, pay for it, that's it. Okay, no maintenance, no anything. Yeah. So hybrid cloud. Now consider a bank. Okay, so you have a bank. Now what happens in a bank might be that you have to, yes, auto scaling is possible, definitely. So that is one of the best features of the cloud. So auto scaling, so for those who don't know what auto scaling is, it's basically you have predicting, okay, Tuesday my load will be 1,000. So automatically on this particular day, whenever the load will be 1,000, he or that cloud is there, no, automatically that system will increase its scale. Okay, so basically it increases its hardware requirement. So if it's having 8 GB RAM, it will increase itself to use 16 GB RAM and so on. Okay, so okay, my video is lagging. Not sure, might be some network issues. Okay, so let's jump back to the hybrid cloud. So what is hybrid cloud? So hybrid cloud is combination of, if you see here, the combination of both um, uh, public cloud and private cloud. What do you mean? So it's like contradicting, right? Private cloud is data is in on premises, public cloud data is somewhere else. How do you contradict this? So basically, consider you are a bank. Okay, so you want your data to be secured. So at the same time, you want some of the features of on cloud to public cloud to be incorporated in you. So suppose it's not in terms of data, not in terms of hardware too. So consider you want data analytics to be done with your data, or some big data operations to be done. So in this case, you go ahead and use a hybrid cloud. Okay, so it's the combination of both public and private cloud. So basically, your data and your infrastructure rise in the um, private cloud, but these capabilities of public cloud you can incorporate in them. No, half data is in private, half data is in public. No, when it comes to data, it's always secured. Then it means that it's a on premises, that is a private cloud. So basically data is in private, but you use some of the features, okay, of the public cloud. So that is like database operations, you can tell. More secured private, definitely. Okay. And hybrid, again, your data is on premises, so it is also secured. But on terms of scalability, costs wise, then public comes into picture. So see, when I mean, right, public, your data in public also is secured, but there are some agencies where they want data specifically to be between this company only, not to go anywhere out of the company. In that terms only, we generally use the on premises data centers. Okay. Yep. Advantages here is flexible. Yes, it's flexible, or whatever is there in public plus whatever is there in private, it's mixed here. So what's the new advantages is, so basically you can transition whenever you want from on premises to cloud or back again. Okay, so you have a on premises or a hybrid infrastructure, you can directly jump back to main cloud, else you can get back to here. Okay, so this is the ease of doing. um yep. Yep, so this is overall the combined definition of all. Yep, private cloud is secured for all. Yep. Which one is more preferred? Again, it based on your requirement. So if you see here, right, based on your requirement, you have to choose which one you have to go. Suppose your data privacy is most important, then go ahead with on premises. If your data privacy is most important, and also you need some of the services from the public cloud, that is some of the data analytics service and this all that services, then go with the hybrid, else public. Okay, but most of the cases now it's public cloud. Apart from this banking application and some other secret, I mean some other special applications, they go with private. Okay. So one clarification, in the private cloud, it's the organization which owns. Yes, so organization is solely responsible for the or maintenance of data in the cloud or in the data center. Okay. um Here, right, this is again some of the, as I mentioned earlier, is private cloud is able to hack. Yes, definitely. So if you have a little bit compromising on your security, right, so hacking chances are very much more compared to the public cloud. So public cloud, at least if any hacking is there, also you can claim, you can get your money, or they have a certain agreement that your data is secured with us. Okay. So in this case, yes, private cloud have a, like they have a chances of getting hacked. Okay. Can we get the slides? Yeah, so let's talk about this sometime after this session. So how about sharing these slides? Okay. So for now, let's get on to the next slide. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, some of the advantages of cloud computing. Okay. So high availability. So suppose consider we are using a public cloud now. Let's just go to specifically using the public cloud. Okay. Now, what are the some of the advantages of cloud computing? First thing, high availability. So as I told you, when you go ahead and get a cloud account or subscription, right, they Microsoft, because we are just targeting the Microsoft Azure now, so Azure has a service level agreement. So basically they have a kind of agreement with you, saying that okay, anything happens, any downtime happens, we are responsible for you. So consider, it's not for again, you just go ahead and get a premium kind of virtual machine. Okay. So you have each and every right to tell Microsoft that okay, you are not meeting my standard. I have this many downtime, this many probably this many errors with your system. You are not supporting me. Yes, you have right to do that. Okay, that is service level agreement. So level agreement, depending on service level agreement. Why depending on service level agreement? Yes, because if you choose a very basic kind of virtual machine or a web app, right, it's not applicable for a service level agreement. It said that okay, I can go down anytime, I can go down, tomorrow or anything. Yes. So Azure resource, yes. I'll get back to you for this question. So now high availability, we got it. Your cloud-based application can provide it has to provide a continuous user experience. So it has not to go down at any point of time. If it has a downtime also, it should be very less, and it should be conveyed to the user saying that okay, in so and so region this outage is there. We have transferred your data to some other region, and you might expect a delay from us. Okay. So next, scalability. We already spoke about scalability so much. Yes, it supports auto scaling too. So someone around here asked that um, how it's auto scalable. Yes, auto scaling also is one of the feature here. Elasticity. So elasticity, again I told you, auto scaling comes into picture here. So whenever you want, it will increase, it will decrease. Okay. So agility. So agility is adapt quickly to your requirements. Okay. Don't take a zero, don't take some, like we have some a terminology called a warm start. Okay. So cold start. Cold start is um, basically when you are starting application, no starting, it will not start, you need to push a bit. Okay, saying that okay, wake up, wake up. So it has to adapt quickly to this. Okay. So next, geo distribution. So geo distribution is basically consider you have your data in India. Okay. So what happens, it's not only in India. So virtual data is not only in India, Indian data center. Your data can be replicated in multiple data centers. Why? Because consider now today my India data center, Bangalore data center, I stay in Bangalore data center. Yes, Varun. So I'm on the same this backup, regarding the backup only. So that's when the global distribution and disaster recovery comes into picture. So what happens is, my data is in Bangalore because I stay in Bangalore. I have my data in Bangalore region. Okay. So what cloud does it? I mean, what Azure provides is the data I have here in Bangalore, right? It's replicated into multiple regions. So a backup kind of thing is taken. So consider it's taken in Chennai or Bhubaneswar, Mumbai, and so on. Okay. So it's taken in 4 locations. Suppose what happens, my data center in Bangalore goes down. Okay. Then the data is replicated here, right? I can get the data from here. Okay. Until this data center get fixed, I can get my data from here or any other region. So this is basically the global distribution. So I have given a example of India, but in real terms your data is replicated throughout the world. Okay. It depends again on what kind of service you are choosing, what kind of user or kind of account you have, and all those things. Okay. Next thing. So disaster recovery is also same thing. Suppose if your um, data center goes down, yes, then you have to be a quicker response and so on. Okay. So yes, so someone asked me, is Azure resources can be provisioned using Terraform or such language? Yes, we can configure this using Terraform, or we can configure it using Azure CLI or Portal or ARM templates. There are multiple ways to do it. Yes, you can definitely transfer data up to terabytes to the Azure. But yeah, there are certain tools for data migrations, so that you need to use those. Okay. So does the cloud have backup? Yes, we answered it. So switch, is it possible to switch to cloud services? Can you please elaborate the question, Janesh? You mean from on premises to cloud? Yes, you can do it. So there are some certain tools also that your data get migration, and yes, like from Google to, yes, yes, there are extensions also. So like we had some, I had encountered something like uh, um, I'll just give you example where I had one storage account in one of the provider, like storage in Amazon, and I had to transfer it to Azure. Yes, that can be done. So there are some, you just need to specify the connection strings and the way to connect both. You can do it. So that's good. Um, so this is all about migrating. So Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud, which is more preferable? Okay, since I am a Microsoft associate, I would go ahead with the Microsoft Azure only, because I am not much aware of Google Cloud services. But see, both are doing its own job. Okay, so sometimes Microsoft, why it's preferred is it has its own language and so on. It provides integration with multiple languages. So I would tell Microsoft. But yes, so Google is just a newbie in the market. So as I told you, the hierarchy is Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and so on, right? So yep. Okay, so we told about the costs and all those things. So what needs to be considered while we go to cloud? Okay, so we need to think two things: so cost and expenses. These three things, two things we need to consider when we are going to cloud. Okay, excuse me. Excuse me. Yep. Yep. So there are two things what you need to consider when you switch to cloud, when you want to switch to cloud. There are cost comes into picture, right? There are two terminologies. So one is capex, that is the capital expenditure. Okay. So capital expenditure is basically upfront spending on the money on the physical infrastructure. Okay. Okay, so basically consider now what you do is you go ahead and buy a scooter. Okay, so you go ahead and buy scooter. Now on scooter, what do you spend much? So what and all things you do when you go ahead and get a scooter? What things you pay for? So consider you are paying for scooter. What you do? Okay, in the meantime, Vishal asked that where is Microsoft Cloud usage? Okay, so as far as I remember, Bentley uses it, and probably Mercedes also uses it. So there are multiple. Shell, I think Shell also is one of the partner for Azure. So there are multiple companies which use Azure services. Okay, so anyone on my question that you are going to get a scooter? So in the cost breakup, what and all is there? Paying for the whole machine, perfect. After this. No, not engine. So you go and pay for the whole machine, right? In the cost breakup, what and all will be there? Insurance, perfect. I was expecting this. And then maintenance, yes, correct. So when you go and get a scooter, right, you need to think multiple. First thing, when you whole infrastructure, yes, road tax, RTO expenditure. So all these things are small things which you had to pay when you get an infrastructure, correct? Now, upfront cost. So basically, apart from the physical infrastructure, you pay these taxes, everything, right? And then as time goes, next year you go and pay for the service charges, you pay for insurance. So this is kind of long-term expenses. But it's like, okay, if I pay this, my item will be very good. My scooter will be very good today, or after 10 years also, my scooter will. But I have to maintain it. I have to bear some costs. Okay, so this is basically a capital expenditure where not only one, for every year you will be paying something or another. Okay, some example in terms of IT is basically servers, printers, and also every year you have to you have to service them, conditioner and generators, right? So next, you buy these items once they benefit your business for many years, correct? When you know that, okay, this is benefiting my business for 10 years down the lane, I'm going to buy this. Okay, and once you pay the capex, why it's increases the lifetime and the usefulness. Okay, so this is the capex. Okay, so next thing is Opex. So that is the operational expenditure. So what is operational expenditure? So operation. So consider now today you go and get a pen. So every day you will go and tell, okay, I need to service my pen. No, right? 10 rupees pen you will buy. That's it. You will not go tomorrow and tell, okay, take this, service my pen and give. It's not writing. Change the nib and give. No, you will just go pen not writing, change the refill. Okay, or throw that pen. Okay, so operational expenditure is basically spending the money on the services now. Okay, and getting billed for them now, not like over time, not like over 1 month or 1 year. And not, I pay, go now, I get it, I pay for it, that's it. Okay, no upfront cost. As you pay for a service, you use it. Okay, so you go 10 rupees pen, you come, you use it, that's it. Okay. Yes, at the end of this 3 day session, probably you will get your Microsoft voucher. Yep, so examples for this Opex is basically cartridges, paper, electricity, and all these things, right? One time jobs done. Okay, so these things are basically necessary for your business success. These are like catalysts. They are there for your business success, but like not a worth for a long term investment. Okay, so there is no point in getting a table worth lakhs, right? I have my work table. There is no point in going and getting table worth lakhs. No, I'll get probably for 1000, 2000. I'll use it for 3 years, 2 years. It'll go waste. Then I'll throw it. Correct. So this is the Opex. Okay. Okay. So this is the difference between Capex and Opex. So asset purchased with Capex is useful for few years. Okay. And it's just a catalyst here. It's just to run an ongoing business. So lump sum upfront, no lump sum upfront. You just ongoing business. When you need it, you go and get it. Longer lifespan and depends on the payment. So 10 pen is probably it will come to 2 months. That's it. Okay, and here you pay the operational costs. Okay, so this is a kind of a summary of Capex versus Opex. Now in cloud, right, when you cloud, what kind of thing it is? Basically cloud is a kind of consumption based model. So consumption based model is basically something like you pay for what you use. So that is the overall picture of the consumption based model. Okay, now here what you pay for is basically what the advantage is. Basically no upfront cost. No, you no pay thousand or lakhs or rupees and to use it, right? Next, no need to purchase and manage costly infrastructure. Yes, no need to manage the costly infrastructure. The ability to pay for the additional resources when they need it. Okay, so today you need some resources, you pay it, done. Tomorrow you don't need, you'll not be charged for that from tomorrow. Okay, ability to stop paying for the resources when they're not. As I told you, when you need it, you get it. Else, no. Okay, so this is kind of a shared responsibility model. Now it's the type of cloud computing services. Okay, so it's divided into three things, right? SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, and on premises. Okay, so this is just overall thing. I'll just get back to you to this slide after explaining the next slide. Okay, okay, great. So now everyone might like pizza, correct? So there is very less people who doesn't like pizza. So what happens is, now when you go and pizza, there are ways of preparing the pizza, right? So first way is basically you go ahead and you probably go have a dining table. You should have a dining table. You should have your Coke, Pepsi, whatever, electric, gas stove, fire, everything. You should prepare a pizza dough. You should get a tomato sauce. You should get a toppings. You should get a cheese, correct? So this is one way of preparing pizza. So this is the pizza problem, where it explains the different ways of software services like cloud services in a very simplistic manner. Okay. So first thing is pizza made at home. So as I told you, you get everything whatever you want. Okay, next thing is infrastructure as a service, take and bake. So you basically you have your dining table, you have your Pepsi, Coke and all, you have your gas, oven, fire, everything. What you get from shop is pizza dough, tomato sauce, toppings, cheese. Okay, you go, you get this from shop, you make pizza at home. Like we have the ready-made pizza right now to be this and all. The base is available, the sauce is available, you just have to get it home and bake it, correct? Next thing is getting pizza from Domino's. Okay, so basically you can get you have your dining table ready, you have your Pepsi ready. What do? You call Domino's, you order the pizza to home, correct? Done. Now next thing is dining, everything you direct visit to Domino's and have pizza, everything is theirs. So this is how the software services or the cloud computing is divided. That is the traditional on premises, where everything you manage. Infrastructure as a services, where some things are managed by the cloud provider and rest thing is you manage. And the platform as a services, and platform as a services is basically everything, most of the things is managed by the vendor or the provider, and less things is managed by you. And software as a services, where everything is managed by the vendor. Okay, so yep, for this. Okay, so now before this, right, so let me just explain the alternate for this. So basically here, right, This means the data, okay, data and application. Okay, so this is the runtime where your application should be run. Okay, correct, electric, gas, or oven. Okay, this is the electricity or gas where your application should be run. Next is oven. Oven is kind of a operating system. Okay, operating system. Okay, next the fire is kind of a virtual machine. Okay, it should be run in some machine, right? Fire is kind of a virtual machine. Next is kind of your pizza dough, tomato sauce acts as a computational resources. Okay, so it enables you to prepare your pizza. Okay, computational resources. Toppings are like toppings and cheese are networks and the storage. Without this, the pizza is not empty. So this is the alternates for this. Okay, so types of cloud services: IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Okay, as I told you, private, all the things is you manage. Infrastructure, only computational things is managed by the cloud provider. Platform services, only you get your data and applications, rest all thing is managed by the cloud provider. Software as the services, basically everything is managed by the services, but you can access your data in it. Okay, so where is it? Yep, I'm just waiting for any questions also. Okay, so let's come to infrastructure as a service. Okay, so as I told you, infrastructure as a service. So here, a cloud provider, let's take Azure for example. If you see here, the servers and storage, the network security, firewalls, the virtual networks, and the data center, so basically where your data is residing, so this is managed by the cloud provider. Okay, so it's like almost similar to managing a physical server, but the only difference is that you don't have to manage the data. Okay, the cloud provider will keep the hardware up to date. So basically you have your virtual machines and all the things, right? So data center, so he will keep the hardware out up to date. Okay, but here the operating systems, virtual machines, and everything is up upon you, correct? So if you see here, operating system, virtual machine, runtime, this is upon you. So this you have to manage. Okay, it helps you. Why it helps you? It's because helps you, like, you don't have to go and buy a laptop, you just have to go and get a license and you can use it in their virtual machine. Okay, and here each and every resource is offered as a separate service component. So basically you want, suppose you want to rent out a compute resource or a storage report, you go and just get a storage resource, that's it. You don't have to go and get all the three things. You want a server or storage, get only this and increase it. Okay, and Azure manages everything while you purchase, install. So only thing what you need to do is, so here why the problem is, basically operating system your cost. Okay, virtual machine your cost, database migration or your database backup, everything is on your cost. When you want to do it, it's on you, you are doing it. So you need a separate database administrator and so on for this. Okay, so yep, so let's see, let me see if a question. Yep. So, why this is used? Test and development teams can quickly set up and dismantle test environment. So you can create a test environment today, saying that okay, I want to test something in my local system. I'll go and create a test environment today. Okay. So it helps in bringing to a market faster compared to on premises. Okay. So you can host your website here. You can create a VM. You can host a website. As we know, storage is provided by them. So storage backup recovery is their headache. You don't have to do anything. If they go wrong anywhere, go ahead and ask, talk to them. Okay, next, web apps. So web apps is nothing but a way of hosting a website. Okay, so high performance computing. Why? Because here servers, everything is given by them, so computing will obviously be high. Big data analysis, basically why is because data is basis, the storage where you store your data is given by them, so you can use this data and you can increase or decrease your data. um, so some of the PaaS services, IaaS services provided by Azure is compute storage, that is virtual machine, storage, networking, security, and all these things which is provided by Azure are a PaaS services. Okay, okay, so platform as a service. So platform as a service, if you see right here, where is it? So here, you get only your data and application. So consider you have your web application or your programming language. You tell, okay, I want to programming .NET and I want to host this application. You just get that, and rest all is managed by Azure only. So that is basically a platform as a service. They give you a platform to host your data. Okay, so see here, if you see, operating system, development tools, and everything is provided by them, so you just need not manage anything. Okay, so this is known as PaaS services. So it is way better than IaaS, because here your headache is very less, because you just have to focus on what kind of data you need or what kind of operating system you need. You need to tell it, and it will manage the licensing, database backup, virtual machine backup, everything it will manage. You just need to come, enter your business logic, deploy the application to code, that's it. Okay, no, like IaaS, PaaS includes infrastructure, server, storage, everything. Correct. PaaS is designed to support the complete web application lifecycle, right from the testing, deployment, managing to uploading, everything. PaaS can support it. Okay, so here you need not buy the have a headache of going and getting a license or anything. So everything is, you just need to pay for a subscription. As I told you, pay for a pay as you go service. So Azure will manage everything. Okay, so some of the common scenarios here: development framework, you can choose whatever development framework you want. Analytics and business analytics, as I mentioned earlier. Additional services also you can use it. Okay, like workflow directly, security, scheduling, like scheduling the maintenance and all, you can do it. Excuse me. um Okay, could you give us some real time example of PaaS? Consider I have a website application. Okay, so I just need, I am worried about my I'm not literally having any, like, what do you tell? Okay, so I don't have any infrastructure or anything. Okay, so I am just writing my code and deploying it to it. So probably any most of the website are into the PaaS only, like most of the business application where VM is not involved. Any application, any kind of application where VM is not involved, where you are not creating a VM or you're not doing anything with the VM, that kind of services is known as PaaS. Okay, so advantages, I'll just show you in one of the slide where the PaaS services are used. Okay, so cut coding time. So basically, you need not have the coding time to deploy the infrastructure. You just have the coding time to deploy the infrastructure, not create an infrastructure here. Cut. Okay, add. Okay, so here you need not have any extra staff to maintain the database, to take the licensing stuff, to maintain the data backup of the database and so on. You need not add any of them. So develop, so you can develop here in multiple platforms. Okay, including mobile also you can develop the things. Okay, use, so here you can use multiple tools, very sophisticated tools like ERP and some NuGets and all, for a lesser cost, affordably. Okay, support, so again, geographical distribution is supported. Manage, so you can effectively manage the application of a life cycle of application, like testing, right from the deployment to its end, like support. You can maintain everything using the PaaS. Okay. Yep. So these are basically some of the PaaS services. So Azure hosted SQL database, Redis cache, document DB in terms of analytics and IoT. So web APIs, whatever you have with your, if you're dealing with the web APIs, right? So that is, if it's hosted, so that is generally a PaaS services. Okay. So storage queues and so on. So these are basically some of the PaaS services. Okay, software as a service is basically everything is managed by them. You need not do anything. Okay, they will come, they will manage everything. So you just need to get your data. They will they will just get your data. Okay, so what you like, basically everything, like, such as right from the application, data, virtual machines, everything is managed by them. You just need to pay for them, probably like a subscription model or anything like that. Okay, so pay as you go also is there. So pay as you go is consider, you might have considered um, consider O365 for first 100 days it will give you a free, or something, some site where you will tell, okay, first 3 days is the trial, then you need to pay for our services. This is kind of a pay of as your services or a subscription based services. Okay, and everything is given you by internet. So you need not manage anything, you just come use it services. But here the problem is, it's not according to you, it's according to them. Okay, so a kind of example is these free services like email, whatever email we use, right? So those are things are the SaaS services. Else you have paid is like the SAP, the CRM tools, and all those things are the paid services. Okay, advantages. So again, so gain access to the sophisticated application, yes, but here probably you have to shell out a bit more compared to the past. Okay, pay only for what you use. So consider there are, if you see, right, Netflix, consider Netflix is a SaaS service. It has something like um for 4 screens you have to pay 800, for 2 screens you have to pay 400, and so on. So this is pay what you use kind of thing. Okay, use free client software. So any additional software is not required. Okay, so if you consider this Google, right, anything extra you're not using, what is there you're using, correct? Mobilize your workforce easily. This means that you are not worried about the developing the applications, right, or running this application on different systems. It is done by itself, or Azure manages the, or any SaaS provider manages it. Okay, access app data from anywhere. So you can have your iPad, you can do that, mobile you can do that, anything you can do that. Okay, so not necessarily that you have to go to system, log into particular thing and do it. No, not necessarily. Any application, anything you can do that. Okay, examples for SaaS. Okay, comparison. Now all the things compared. So most flexible cloud service is IaaS. Okay, you configure, you manage the hardware for your application. Next is focus on application development. PaaS, platform management, is handled by the cloud provider. Okay, so the base platform, what is that, it's managed by the cloud provider. SaaS is pay as you go pricing, and users pay for the software they use on a subscription. Excuse me. Okay, now apart from all this, there is one more concept called serverless computing. Okay, serverless computing basically, so anywhere all over our previous example we had something called with respect to servers, right? So if you see here, right, anywhere the servers are there, all this compute is basically servers. Okay, so serverless computing is basically servers are there. It doesn't mean that server is not there, I am accessing the data. No, it's not like that. So servers are there, but you are really not worried about what kind of server it is. Okay, so it can be, so it's kind of a pool of server. So how serverless acts is basically, so if I have my server, pool of servers here. Okay, so you have one application hosted as a serverless service. So what you do, it's allocated to one small server. So whenever you invoke this application, right, it wakes up, it asks the server to compute the things, gives you a response, goes sleep. So that this pool of server is allocated to someone else. So this is basically known as the serverless concept or serverless computing. Okay, so yep. Yep. So this is known as the serverless computing or the concept of serverless computing. Okay. So, yep. In understanding the definition of serverless computing, it's known as servers are still running. Okay, as I told you, servers are still running in the code, but it's just that you are not really bothered about it. It's someone else is taking care of it, and it's like a pool of servers. Okay, why this is just for a short-lived job or a some small APIs is there, right? You literally do not host it for a dedicated time. Okay, you can just go ahead and make use of a serverless computing. Okay, this approach helps developers to focus more on the business logic rather than the deployment and all those things, right? They can focus on what their business is doing. Okay, so it helps their team to increase in productivity and bring the product to the market at a better fast speed. Okay, so no infrastructure is required. Dynamic scalability, so automatically you can scale, probably load is more, you can take more space of the server and so on. Faster time to market and more efficient use of resources. Why? Because ideally you're not using a dedicated server, right? So no, that server can be used for something else. If you can pay, your cost is also reduced a bit more. Okay, so that's why more efficient use of resources. Else the even the server is not having any downtime or anything. Some of the example in terms of Azure. Okay, so this is Azure functions. So basically Azure functions and Azure logic apps. So we'll have a look at it in coming classes. Okay, so Azure function is kind of more code based approach, and Azure logic app is more of a design based approach. Okay, no, this is overall the big picture on when you use to when to use what. So consider, um, Can serverless be used in Azure services like SaaS? Okay, see, SaaS is basically you are not really bothered about serverless or server. You are just directly using a software. You can integrate a SaaS with your serverless computing. Yes, that you can do. That definitely you can do. But SaaS is not bothering much about what kind of service it is. Okay. Yeah, so migrate or build. So let's start with one of the small examples to end this session today. Okay, so migrate or build a new session application. So if you want to migrate, okay, so there are two options: lift and shift or cloud optimized. Okay, if it's a lift and shift, then directly put it to a app service or a virtual machine. Okay, can be container first. Yes. Okay. Okay, can be containerized. Can be put into orchestration and containerized, then go ahead with the AKS. No, then already put a app service container. Cannot be containerized, then go with the web API approach, app service, or put it into virtual machine. So this is known as kind of a PaaS approach. Okay, now cloud optimized. Okay, so cloud optimized is HPC workload. Yes, then use Azure batch. You're using complete build new, then go for virtual machine approach. Okay, so microservice, so these are many of the applications which are provided by Azure. So microservices architecture, no. App service, yes. Check for event driven short lived process, yes means Azure function, no means again check for orchestration. No, then go for container instances, yes. Go with your technology stack and so on. Okay, so this is the overall picture of the when to use what. So it's bit complex when to use what services, but yes, so just for a overall understanding, this is good. Okay, great. In the meantime, I can take your questions. Okay, also I'll just give this form so you can just answer to these questions now. So this is just for today's this. So where can I post the comment? I'm not able to post the comment here. I'll just post it in private chat so the organizers can post it to the pin there. So just please answer this. So it's just what is covered into the today's session. Okay. So yep. So any questions you have? Yeah, I'm just trying to share it from the chat. Lakshit, if you're there, can you please share this pinned comment? What I dropped in the chat. Okay, in the meantime, I'm ready to take any doubts. I hope I have answered most of the things. Yes, so tomorrow also we'll be meeting at the same time, and tomorrow we'll be covering some of the services what provided in Azure. Okay, so this cover the core services inside the Azure solution. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be doing with that. So I'm ready to take the questions.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, now you are.
Okay, so a quick announcement from my side. So those who will be the winners, top three winners will be getting Microsoft Azure passes from our side for this quiz today. So guys, give your best. Best of luck for the quiz.
Nowadays, PaaS is widely used rather than IaaS because people really don't want to go ahead and maintain the servers and all the stuff, right? So people have started, okay, we need more of less headache of maintaining the operating system license, taking the backup of database. So they have started to move towards PaaS. But yes, IaaS is used where you can take some examples of where the VMs are more used, right? So where the operating system constraints are there, so in that case the IaaS users. But yes, PaaS is more widely used, at least for today's. Okay, so I think it's time to end the session. I hope everyone have filled up this form. So, yep. So let's catch up tomorrow then.
Okay, so sir, have you closed the form responses?
It's open. So
Okay. Let me know when you are closing the responses so that we can
yep,
get their mails to us.
yep. Okay, I'll close the responses in some time. Yep, I've closed the responses now.
Okay, so sir, can you like declare the winners over here so that we can get their mails?
Okay, so okay, so what we'll do is tomorrow I'll declare the others responses. Okay,
Perfect.
so I can see all one response. Okay, I'll just give it tomorrow then. Great.
Perfect.
Okay,
So,
so
so we'll be
one
announcing
here
that.
I'll
Yeah.
just answer a last thing. So in IaaS, cloud provider does the maintenance, right? uh he does the maintenance of the servers and all those things. So you need to do the maintenance of operating system database. Rest all is maintained by them. Yeah. Okay, then let's catch up tomorrow then. Yep. Bye bye.
Perfect.
Sure.
Perfect. So one last announcement from my side, guys. We have one more quiz in our Discord channel, Azure Developer Community Discord channel, and where if you think you haven't given your best in this quiz, you can give another try. You can give another try in next quiz. Today we have another quiz scheduled at 9 p.m. Here is the Discord server link. You can join our Discord channel and you can participate in the quiz. And here we are giving 20 Azure passes to the winners. So I hope best of luck for the next quiz. See you at 9 p.m. in our Discord server community channel. And in quiz section channel, the quiz will be going live at 9 p.m. sharp today. Okay, so guys, see you then. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your beautiful insight. Thanks you, Subendu, for being with us. And
Thank you.
let's meet tomorrow, guys, at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.